Well, good morning and welcome to Power to Speak, the podcast with my double whammy. I've got two guests on the screen today, which is a first for me, I have to say.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. So this is Emily and Alan from Yellow Tuxedo.
Hello.
And you guys are digital visibility specialists.
Yes.
We are.
Explain, please.
You can go with that
I'll
one.
go with that. Okay, so yeah. Well, hold on. Now, I think there's two answers to this. So one, I guess I need to explain what that is and why we exist, etc., etc. And that is, and I know you're going to ask us about some of this as well. But I'm going to try and keep the story short. Basically, we were in the wedding world with a company called Bay Lily Bell Tents, okay? And
You're only asking what the digital business
well, no, I know,
specialist
but I
is.
feel I need to give context to it rather than just going, we show companies how to grow online, because that's just rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I do like context.
yeah,
Context is always good.
Oh, hold on to your hats.
Hold on,
guys.
Jackie. Let's go. Right. So we were in the wedding industry. We had a company called Bay Lily Bell Tents, and we were putting bell tents up for parties, weddings, etc., etc. Mobile glamping. And in the wedding world, marketing mainly is Facebook groups going book me, and wedding fairs. And you turn up at a wedding fair. Usually they're in the winter, and we were outside weddings, so we would end up putting our bell tents up in the rain, in the garden. No one wanted to come out. We didn't get much from it, and we thought there's got to be a better way of doing this. So everything we were trying to run away from our old employed backgrounds, we brought back well and truly and started embracing. And long story short, we moved our marketing model online. An organic digital visibility model is what we started creating and building with Bay Lily Bell Tents. At the same time, we were discussing franchising the business around the UK. Glamping was still pretty small at the time. And we thought we need to be national before any franchisees buy. So the marketing was already in place. So we totally embraced this and started to make this happen online. Then one day we sat down with our accountant, as you are, and she said, you know, no one else knows how to do what you two are doing. And we went, well, that's really interesting, because we sit here going, why is no one else doing what we're doing? And we'd stopped going to wedding fairs. We'd stopped going to, spamming the Facebook groups, and everything was going great. We were growing pretty big. And it was at that meeting we decided to start Yellow Tuxedo. We wanted to start showing other people how to do what we were doing. But we needed a name, and we didn't actually know at the time what it was we were doing. It took a good 6 months to kind of explore this. And were we SEO kind of experts? Were we social media managers? Were we content creators? And we'd started doing some research, and we realized we were embracing all of it. So we weren't SEO, social media, or content creation. We were actually all of it. And then it was like, well, hold on, what's that called? So there were loads of digital marketing agencies shooting up left, right, and center a few years ago. And we're like, well, we're not a digital marketing agency, because we're not really discussing paid ads. We're not really doing newsletters. And what do we want to do? We want to show people how to do it. That's what we want to do. We want to show people how to do it. So I say we coined, it wasn't like out of our heads, it was based on research and looking at what other people were saying. So that's where the phrase digital visibility specialist comes from. And that's why we call ourselves that. But really, it's just a title, and actually it's more about us, Yellow Tuxedo, as a brand, and what we kind of show people how to do. So,
Well, I mean, there is so much in there. I don't know where to start.
sorry.
I think obviously the Bay Lily Bell Tents became, quite a sizable brand, and it's of a nice sized business. So was Yellow Tuxedo almost has now replaced it, but it wasn't then. It was sort of a sidearm, was it?
It did. So Bay Lily Bell Tents was 10 years old, and we closed it last year, unfortunately, due to a number of factors, including COVID being a big factor. The events industry had as most of us know, had a huge hit. We were victims like everyone else in terms of...
Well, no, interestingly, 2 years ago today, we're recording this, was Boris's announcement that basically wiped out 100% of our income for 1 year in one meeting.
We lost 100% overnight. We lost all of our future bookings. We suffered the fact we didn't receive any of the government handouts, just through a series of unfortunate factors in that. So we were very fortunate in the fact that Yellow Tuxedo had started before COVID, and it was meant to be a sidearm, kind of actually a growth strategy to kind of be our exit out of events, because we recognise we have a small family. We have 3 children under the age of 8. A lot of our summers were spent in fields and dealing with events on the day, and actually we wanted to spend more time with our family. So it was always going to be our exit strategy, but we hadn't at that point decided that was going to be our full-time job. Then COVID happened.
Boris made it happen a bit quicker.
Boris made it happen quicker.
Bless him.
But it was kind of, we'd started, and we obviously, being seasonal with weddings and events, it was great. It was going to be our winter project that we could start to slowly just work out where it was, and then that escalated very, very quickly, and now it's our full-time occupation, and we are fully exited of the old wedding world as it is today.
Do you miss it?
Yeah.
Yeah, at times the bits we don't miss, like now we don't work bank holidays and weekends, and unfortunately our kids are at school, which is the flaw in an otherwise perfect life plan. You know,
Yes.
It forces us back into the Monday to Friday world that we actively try and escape from.
But
we do miss bits,
But
don't we?
what we have, and I think we said about this recently, we have successfully been able to replicate elements of what we loved about Bailey in this job. And what we loved about Bailey, and Alan sort of touched on, we had corporate jobs before we worked together as husband and wife team.
Corporate.
Yeah, well, I worked for the Forestry Commission. I worked in some large lottery funded projects, and was in terms of the marketing and the events management, stuff like that. Alan worked in brand training and culture for Carfin Warehouse. So we had skill sets before that. And when we left that world and came in to work together, what we wanted was not necessarily to put up tents for a living. That wasn't what I was going to say.
I always think that's right. Yeah, we never wanted to put up tents, and we never wanted to be digital visibility specialists.
They are kind of the byproduct of what we wanted in our lives. What we wanted was to be able to have fun together, to be able to meet new people, to be able to experience, and especially with the events, to see parts of the country that we might not have seen before, to get out and just have an adventure. And those elements that we loved about the events industry, we have been able to replicate with Yellow Tuxedo. Yes, we're not in a field every single weekend. We're not sweating from the eyeballs in the middle of the summer and that kind of stuff. But we still do have the ability to meet new people in a digital way, which is amazing. We've never met. Yet I feel like we're getting to know you really, really well. We still managed to dip our toe into the events world. We're still running online events rather than
like the Digital Circus Live? First crowbar in, Emily.
And we still have that adventure, because we don't always know where the day is going to lead us. We have opportunities there. We have new collaborations. We talk about new projects. So it's still exciting. It's just not that formalised kind of events world that we used to be in.
Yeah.
I always think we saw a really interesting shift in our life on that adventure kind of part Emily was talking about. Previous to owning our own businesses, we were always in the car, like driving about, going on holiday, going camping. We do a lot in the outdoor sort of mountaineering and walking and stuff like that. We were always doing that. Starting our business coincided with the birth of our first child, and what we stopped was all of that. All of that stopped because we'd replicated it in our business in Bailey Bell Tents. We were all over the place all the time. With Yellow Tuxedo, we found that shift change back again to wanting to go away. And now our kids are at an age, I'm not saying it's not easy to go with a baby. There's none of those sorts of things. It's just, we're at that age now where the kid, I know it's a minefield, isn't it? But the kids are kind of able to be involved more in let's go out for the weekend. And we found that really interesting in our life, that shift from kind of going away to doing it for work to now going away again, and then Yellow Tuxedo supporting that. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's really, really interesting about what you are doing in both areas, in both digital and previously with Bailey, is kind of creating something that fits with you, your lifestyle, your personalities, and what you want out of life. And I think just trying to teach people how to do that, let alone teaching people how to do the digital stuff. I mean, that must be
Emily, write that down. Write that
That's
down.
also something we impart. So we have young children, and that's something that we're trying to impart in our children at this point, at the ages of 8, 6, and 4. And to, I went through a very academic path. I was top of my class in school. I did really well with the GCSEs. I got A-levels, went to university. I did the very academic route. And you go through that path, and it's always, so what do you want to be? What are you going to be when you're older? What are you going to do this? And it's really difficult to kind of pinpoint what it is you want to do, especially when you're 16 or even younger these days. And one of the things we kind of impart with Lydia Rose, our eldest as well, is like, okay, what do you want to be now? what are your interests now? You know, as an 8-year-old, let's work on that, and actually trying to find something that may not necessarily be pigeonholing what that job's going to do for you, but what is it you want out of your life? Because life's really short, and we've had this several times in the last few years with people we've lost and things like that. Actually, life is really, really short. So what do you want to get out of it? And kind of building yourself a life, be it in business, being your own an entrepreneur, or going into a career path, or whatever that looks like, but building it around what you really, really want to have. And for us, we are really fortunate. We are husband and wife, best friends, business partners together, but there are so many non-negotiables about what we want. And we've made the business, both businesses to an extent, fit around that. And it's really important to us.
No, it is. I think we should clarify. It's not always easy. I think we're sitting here making it sound easy. We have as much stress, drama, insert kind of feeling word here, tricky, as the next person. But we have, we do the school run, which is kind of our
Every
why,
day.
isn't it?
Yeah. But that, I mean, that's amazing. I always kind of I like to ask and find out what people were wanting to be when they were 9 years old, 8 years old. And I think that's great with Lydia Rose. You've given her that opportunity to say, this is what I want to do. Because I think whatever you want to do at that stage is kind of what you come back to. We kind of go off on this path and think, oh, we should be this because our parents want us to be, because society says we should. But actually, there's something in all of us that would make the rest of that wholeness. You say life is short, which it is, but actually there's at aged 8 there's a huge expanse of life to sort of fill.
And I think
This is
what we have when we have two of us, we all speak over each other. But also, I mean, majority of us, especially anyone who's watching right now or listening right now, can you say that from the time you left school that you've done one thing and one thing only? There are people who have, we have one of our best friends is a mechanic. He's been a mechanic since he was 16, and that's what he's going to do until he retires. But for the majority of us, we may have chopped and changed. We may have had more than one career. We may have had, complete career break. We might have decided that actually I want to requalify. My uncle decided at the age of 43 to go back to university and study to be a social worker, and so did my auntie to be a physiotherapist.
Wow, my brother. Yeah.
And at what point do you say, actually, no, you have to know what you want to do at that point, at that stage in life? So there's flexibility there. And again, it's going back to what I just said in terms of understanding what your non-negotiables are. Will allow you to make it those easier transitions as you go through various careers throughout your life.
I think it's really important to understand what you don't want. We don't want to be sort of, two parts here. It's really important to understand what you don't want, okay? That's really key. We never wanted to be bell tent people and SEO experts and digital visibility, but we knew what we didn't want, and we knew the elements we did want, if that makes sense. So you may not be able to sit there and go, I want to do this. And I don't know many people who can actually say, I'm still one of these people who says, I don't know what I want to do when I'm older. I am one of them.
Careers talk the other day, didn't you?
I was at Barton Peveril College giving a careers talk, and I said, hi, I'm Alan. I don't know what I want to do when I'm older, but I do know what I don't want. And that's really, really important. Picking up on the bit you were talking about, what you want to be when you were younger, I wanted to either be James Bond or a Radio 1 DJ. Now, I know this is going to sound stupid because I've not been either of those things.
You're definitely not Daniel Craig.
No, I'm not Daniel Craig, am I, darling? But I do want adventure in my life, the James Bond element, and I do want to perform and talk and do the things that a DJ does, which we do at Yellow Tuxedo.
Yeah, and Radio 1 didn't want you.
And Radio 1 didn't want me, but that's another story.
Did you audition? Did you try for that?
So back in around 2001, I applied for their internship. I think it was a new thing they were doing. And I also, so it's tricky because friends have said, like, look, I know local radio shows, if I can give you a foot in if you want. So I've never quite seen it through, although had opportunity. But I did apply to be on Radio 1, and I did enter open auditions for BBC Radio Solent a few years back, but didn't.
They didn't want to read that.
There was no jeopardy.
You're carving your own path, and I think that's why I'm one of the reasons I'm drawn to you two, and I love what you do, is that you have this kind of creativity about you, and I like to think that what I do, although a very serious purpose to get people to
Yeah.
sort of show up professionally and speak clearly and deliver their message and share their ideas. But I like to think I do it with some creativity, with some curiosity and fun as well. And I kind of get the feeling that's what you do and why you do what you do. So tell me the why. Obviously you've touched on it with family and stuff. In terms of sort of creativity, what is it that you love about what you do?
And the word creativity is really interesting, because if you looked at us 10 years ago, we would have been polar opposites of what we are now. Alan's always been quite a black and white kind of analytical statistics, kind of let's do this and make a plan.
Loved a spreadsheet.
And actually, as we've moved and transitioned over the last few years, Alan's probably one of those creative souls I know. He's definitely one of his top of his skill set, really. And my degree is in English and media, and I was a bit more creative at sort of during my academic time, and actually I'm now the one who will end up delivering the training and being the black and white one dealing with facts and figures. So we have reverse roles. But absolutely, where in terms of creativity there, one of the biggest things for us is to kind of break the mold of what professional is, and to be able to cut.
It's a banned word. Professional is a banned word.
To be able to take our business and explore what that is with our clients and on social media in a way that's not necessarily a cookie cutter mold, kind of this is what we have to do because this is what they've said you should do since the dawn of time. So we were really keen for that. And again, Alan and I are a two-person business. We aren't any bigger than who we are, what you see on the screen right now. So we do take in every element, but what that does is it allows us that flexibility together to work out what our plans are and what we want to do. And we have a clear plan in our year about how we want to show up, but also that means, especially with Alan's creativity to an extent as well, when we have an idea that sparks, like the Digital Circus, for example, it snowballs really, really, really quickly. And I love that space because it makes for such interesting conversation in our household. We work together in the same house. We live together, we parent together, we work together, all in the same four walls. But the conversation is never, ever, ever dull, is it?
No, it's not. And I think that's one of the exciting things of owning your own business. I mean, I work for Carphone Warehouse and Fujitsu and some other larger companies, and it's painfully slow, trying to get something to all the stakeholders you need to speak to. And even when I understand why we need to speak to everyone, I still think this is painfully slow. And I'm a bit more reactive. I'm a doer, I like to do things. So it is exciting running your own company and being able to do these things quickly. The other thing about the kind of black and white and grey is a lot of what we do and we show people how to do it is black and white. SEO is search engine optimization is fundamentally a black and white process. But what that allows you to do is embrace the grey. And I think it is this cohesive relationship, a symbiotic relationship of these two coming together, the black and white of doing it like this and embracing the grey to actually achieve something exciting. And I think that's part of what the internet, the excitement of the internet and digital in a broad term is for.
Do you find that, and I think... it's around creativity again, and what is the definition of creativity? It is kind of having boundaries, though, around your creativity. So you can spark all these ideas and you can go off at tangents and you can be exciting and fun and all of those things. But if you haven't got that sort of walls around what it is that you're doing, then it's very, very difficult to be a success at being creative.
I agree.
Yeah,
and you've always said it as well. Alan's great at thinking outside of the box, but he really needs that box to start with.
I can't create the box. If it's a blank piece of paper, I'll struggle. But if you put a dot on it, I'd be able to take that dot and do something with it.
But I think absolutely, in terms of those boundaries and what those are, we are really very flexible with our boundaries. But we've clearly defined with our outward presence, with our business, what our business is about, what we strive for, going into those sort of values and mission statement, all that kind of stuff that we would do. And we look at our posts, regardless of how we put on social media, whether it's a podcast or a video or an Instagram post. Does it tick any one of those five? And there's 5 pillars we have. Does it tick one of those 5 pillars? If it does, then we're okay with it. And we do share quite a lot online. Alan always uses this sliding scale of what's permissible to talk about in terms of for our business and our brand. We are very much personal brand and believe in personal brand, but we're also a family business and we embrace our children wholeheartedly in our business. So how much do we share? We share our family. We share pictures of the kids. I did a live video yesterday and Lydia Rose jumped in and had a chat. We completely accept that and we bring her into it as much as we want. We don't hide away from things like that. But we're not all warts and all in terms of, bank statements and how this is going and, we don't do any of that side of things. So we think as long as it fits what we talk about, and digital visibility, is, again, quite a broad term there. But in terms of, does it allow you to stand out from the crowd? Is it a technical element in terms of teaching and learning? Yes, fine. Is it about personal brand? Is it about being able to do what you want within your own bound? As long as it ticks those things, we are really quite okay with it. And I think more people need to understand that social media, to an extent as well, we're told this is what you should do, and a guru over there will say do this, and this is the format there for this, and actually it's all BS.
No, it is, and I think social media is a great place to kind of understand that BS. Like if you go on Instagram, okay, there are a lot of businesses who will be, and solopreneurs specifically here, kind of freelancers, who will be on LinkedIn leading with personal brand because it's their personal account and having a whale of a time on LinkedIn. You go and check over their account on Instagram, and the second they've moved on Instagram, because it's now not their personal account on LinkedIn, they lead with the brand name. And you go down the grid, and there's lots of kind of Canva created artwork, and it's fine, right? It's never wrong. Nothing's ever wrong, okay? It's really important to understand that. And you talk to them, and they go, yeah, Instagram's not working for me. LinkedIn's where it's at. And you go, you do understand, on LinkedIn, you're leading with your personal brand. On Instagram over here, you're leading with your business brand. And what you're doing, you're saying that's not working for you because you're putting these Canva created artworks up. And over here, you're leading with who you are and your family and your person and your passions and hobbies, and it's working for you. Why don't you do some of that over here? And the other thing is, and we're not saying you should dominate both, by the way. We are believing you should be on as many as you can fit in, but master one. And we have a model we teach our clients. And the other thing is, you get these kind of solopreneurs, freelancers leading with this Canva created artwork with their brand name. And it's like, I know it's you. So why aren't you giving me your name anywhere? Why are you going, hi, Yellow Tuxedo, as an example, we at Yellow Tuxedo deliver. Why wouldn't you go, Emily and Alan at Yellow Tuxedo like to wear yellow, and we're at Bishop's Waltham Palace today doing some filming. Share, and that's that whole of sliding scale piece and understanding,
Well, yeah, you've totally outed me there, because that's exactly what I do.
We do.
What's interesting, Jackie, sorry, and we're stalkers isn't the right word, due diligence. We like to do our due diligence. So on LinkedIn, you put a picture up of the Digital Circus Live notebook yesterday, and that was one of your best performing posts in a while, I noticed. Then I had a look. It had you in it. It had you in a candid shot. It was nothing to do with the yellow, let's be honest. It was all about you in it. And I only went back about 5 or 6 posts. I was just kind of curious. But that was way out there, your best performing post. What a surprise. It had a picture of you in it, so.
Yeah. And I know that every time I put a picture of me up, they are not because it's a picture of me, but just in that personal element of, that personal side of stuff. But I think a lot of people find it difficult. I know, because I talk to people about sharing their stories and using their story, because it's their unique selling point, is who they are. There's no, you are very open with who you are. People can see that. But people are very reticent about kind of sharing too much. But you kind of have led by example. And I assume that the way you do things is the way that you then tell other people that they should be doing things.
Yeah, we've always believed, and something we understood from an early age, when we were 12.
From the age of 3, we knew.
It's that one of our most important things when we work with clients on a one-to-one basis is that we don't tell them this is what you should do. We always meet them where they're at, and we get to understand what they're comfortable with. We will always absolutely push that boundary to an extent, because to be able to be different, you have to be different. You have to change. I know I said it. I got it in there.
Love
yes.
That.
But you have to try and push the boundary slightly to see if anything's going to shift and change for you. So we will always do, but we do lead by example. And anything that you see us doing online is how we would absolutely try and encourage other people to do it. In terms of our ability to show up with our video content or our podcast, if we do any podcasting or any of our artwork, you'll always notice that we do our we will do our use our phone for our videos. We don't do high-end production in terms of video content and things like that, because what we always say to our clients is that you can get started with your smartphone and it's okay. You don't have to have high production for it to be you getting out there and starting. So all of our content is done in-house. It's not particularly polished, I would say, but it's because we want to be able to empathize and to work with our clients to say you can get started. It is okay to do that. So yeah, we lead by example, but
also like the personal element, as I think Jackie was talking about there. The personal element's key, right? I think once again, this is where black and white meets grey again. So black and white facts, okay? People sell to people. We all crave connection. We're all going networking to meet new people and build connections, okay? So we're all trying to build connections. People sell to people. Know, like, and trust is an element of sales, and all this other black and white fact. The grey is let people see who's behind the brand name. Yeah. Let people see who's behind the brand. Let them see a little bit more of you. And what I find in using that LinkedIn, Instagram example again, LinkedIn's giving you permission to do it because it's the accounts in your name, you know, like Facebook, the accounts in your name. But because you're a business, and this is where this kind of stigma, corporate world, you know, I think one of the, I don't like saying things that might be slightly contentious. I think one of the biggest challenges we have in small business, micro, solo, whatever we all are world, is people leaving the corporate world and becoming coaches and telling us they're going to help us achieve what, like Tesco's, and sharing those corporate things with us. And it's like, I don't want you to share those corporate things with me because I'm very, very different and trying to achieve very different things to what Tesco's is trying to achieve. So let's repackage that and make it different. And I think that a lot of that happens with people we're all trying to get answers, okay? And we all want to know how to do more. But like I say, there's that personal, just let people see a bit more of you. It will make a massive difference.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I say I'm not always the best person to lead by example in that way. And my way of putting myself out there is by doing these podcasts. And I suppose a part of that is still me hiding behind a microphone rather than, standing out there as me and sharing what it is that I do.
But that's absolutely fine, because, sorry, I need to jump into digital visibility world here for a moment. This is where the phrase, so what you're doing, you're creating content that allows people to get to know you, know, like, and trust, understand whether they like you, what you're about, and everything else. You're jumping on everyone else's audiences as well as your own audience. And then if it's optimized for SEO, then it's out there on the internet working for you. So it's an absolutely fantastic strategy to have your own podcast. And the fact you're creating video as well means for you're simplifying the process because you're going to get the audio and the video that allows you to do so much more with it. So it's a great thing to do. But
I would also say with you, Jackie, you're doing interview style, so you're kind of approaching it, even if you're not comfortable getting your face out there all the time, which I know you are, but you're handheld by other people in the room. So if you're interviewing somebody, you have that two-way kind of conversation. It makes it a lot easier to do that than if you are just putting the camera on yourself and going, go. And you don't know what to say. So actually interviews, this is perfect, absolutely perfect. Especially if you're anyone out there who's not so confident, get a buddy there, talk, have a conversation, because people still want to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah. And I heard somewhere recently, I can't remember who said it, that if you're running your own business, then you should be running a podcast. Whereas everybody kind of shies away and says, well, there's too many and everybody's got a podcast. And why
there are like 800,000 podcasts.
No, I wouldn't normally do this. Didn't we say that in the coffee morning you came to the other week?
Oh, maybe it was you.
I think it was us.
You think about how many YouTube channels there are in the world. There are billions of YouTube channels in the world. There are only around 800,000 podcasts. Now, we think it's oversaturated. It's perceived to be oversaturated because, let's face it, we're all hanging out on LinkedIn and we're all absorbed around us who are doing podcasts. The reality is podcasting is still teeny tiny out there, and it's only just getting started to grow. So it's not about going, everyone's doing a podcast. Do it, because it's a great way for people to hear you. And
it comes back to, once again, some black and white, is there's 7.5 billion people in the world, okay? you may want 10, 20, 1,000, 100,000 clients. As a percentage of the people out there, it's minimal. But by creating content and putting it out on the internet, you're allowing an element of self-selection. And as Emily said, we're in our peer group, like you, us, and the networks we're all in, it is saturated. But for everyone else, and I know this is a contradiction to the ideal client model, which we like to push the boundaries of a little bit because we find it rather limiting. For everyone else, it's okay. They may want to hear some more content, and your client can come from anywhere around the world. So yeah, it's more podcasts, please.
More
everyone.
More podcasts. Before we jump into the digital lives, the Digital Circus live, two things before we jump into that. Firstly, is that all this talk of black, white, and grey. You are just so known for the colours and for the brand and for your colourfulness. So the talk of black, white, and grey seems quite irrelevant. So how do the colours come into it for you, and is it important brand wise for you to wear your own colours?
Well, there is a whole another hour's worth of conversation right there, Jackie. No, and we all recognise that your brand should not just be your colour palette, and any branding experts be like, no, it's not about the colours, but it is for us. Yellow Tuxedo is called Yellow Tuxedo for a couple of reasons, and the backstory to it, like from years and years and years ago,
there's a story in everything in our
Alan
world.
married me in a yellow suit. He was never going to get married. He joked to his future best man that if I ever do, I'm going to wear a yellow tuxedo and be done with it. And then he met me, discovered he was going to get married, and had no choice but to wear a yellow suit. So I always joke, it's the first wedding that I'd been to, and it was nothing about the bride, all about the groom. But when it came to thinking about Yellow Tuxedo as a business, it kind of really fitted because it was about the whole standing out in the crowd piece and not being afraid to be the idiot in a field wearing a yellow suit, if that's what you want to do. Now, we're not saying everyone needs to stand out in a yellow suit and do that, but that could be your own version of your own yellow tuxedo. So it could be, your tone of voice. It could be that you have a thing that you do, a podcast that you're recognised for. So Yellow Tuxedo is about standing out for the crowd, and it could be insert any other colour. So yeah, in terms of you or any other business wanting to do that, it doesn't have to be a colour, absolutely. It can be your tone of voice. It could be you starting a podcast. It could be what you are known for. And for us, wearing yellow, it kind of evolved into that. And a bit like Alan likes to use the idea of Steve Jobs, who only had one outfit to ever wear, and he had one thing he wore every single day because it allowed him to be creative in other spaces. For us, wearing yellow is kind of easy for us. We have a wardrobe of yellow and we just embody it. Or like I said before we started the recording, my favourite colour is green. I love green. Don't tell Alan that ever, but well.
You're wrong.
But it's what we have now is that we have this bright, bold, fun brand, and we try and be fun. That's one of our KPIs there. But people send us photographs all the time. Oh, well, Emily, I'm in Sainsbury's. I've seen a picture of this yellow lamp and I thought of you. One of our clients the other day was in Butlins on holiday, and he went, I can't believe it. Yellow Tuxedo's here again. And his kitchen was fitted in a bright yellow kitchen. And they just think of us. And in terms of working for our brand recognition, that's gold.
Well, I say there is an element of like marginal gains here, So we talked about it. Literally, as a business owner, you're trying to get people to see you, right? If you own a business, the number one thing you want is people to see you so you can sell to them. Right? That's what it boils down to. So you need anything you can do that will make you stand out that little bit more and be memorable, that just fraction. And if that means having some yellow there, here, the heart there, yeah, let's get on board with that, So, but we're not saying, as Emily said, everyone should adopt one colour, because please don't adopt yellow, anyone.
No,
no. Other than Jesse Cole, who is also yellow suit man. But what marginal gain? We've, I know we're coming to this. One of the speakers at the Digital Circus Live, a lady called Lucy, owns a sock company, Bear Kind. She's got see-through boots. So her boots are see-through. So you
see the socks.
You can see the socks. And it's like, I saw this picture on social media and I'm like, that's unbelievable. But that's the sort of things we're talking about. We are in a business primarily to do why we're doing it. We want to show other people how to do what we're doing and everything else. But the second reason is making some money, because that's, if you're in a position you can do it for free, then you're doing it for free. Otherwise, you're trying to kind of live your life and earn money. So then you need to stand out as any way you can. That's okay, is ethically sound. And if that's adopting a colour,
Go for it.
Go for
Go
it.
for it. I mean, we both know John Aspirian, who
Yes.
I've never seen in anything other than a turquoise polo shirt.
Yes,
You know, and
exactly.
that is his brand. But I do wonder whether John and whether yourselves get to 5 o'clock and then rush upstairs and put something else on.
No.
Well, I used to,
don't.
and I used to kind of. I've got one of my favourite snuggly jumpers is bright crimson red, and actually you mentioned you saw it in a video the other day from our old brand. And I wear it because it's snuggly and warm, and I'm really cold. But then I realised that I'm getting changed to do a video or a live or to have a meeting, because every meeting we will make sure that we are on brand without fail. And if I'm not, I'm like, I couldn't be bothered to keep getting changed every 2 seconds to do that and worry about how I'm. So actually, my wardrobe is now pretty much yellow. But occasionally at the weekends, because I might put my red snuggly jumper back on, we will put a photo out of us out and about with the kids, and someone like. That's not right.
It's a reverse standing out.
I mean,
So
it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like what you're doing. This is really quite young. I've got a blue. I did a Racing the Planet event a few years ago, which as a volunteer, and they gave me a blue zip up hoodie. Again, it's really warm and comfy. It was like, blue really suits you, Emily. Well, thanks, but but then it also becomes a talking point. Because everyone wants to go, why are you not wearing yellow?
Why not wearing yellow? There is an element of uniform to it, and I wonder if you know this from your kind of background in acting, Jackie, of you're getting dressed up to do the job.
Absolutely.
You know, and we talk about this a lot. We've got a background in Scouts, still loosely connected. I've always worn a uniform in a lot of things I've done. You know, as a kid, I did judo. You put a uniform on. Footballers, they put a uniform on to get in the zone to go to work. You know, it's their team kit, and there is an element of that. You know, I'm getting dressed up to do the job. It's a really good way of going, okay, I'm in yellow tuxedo mode now, I'm in business mode. No, it doesn't mean I switch off when I take it off, but it is a fantastic reminder of, okay, let's go, you know.
Oh, that's a really good analogy. I hadn't really thought about it in that way, because you put on a costume and you become that character, and obviously that's the character that you need to, that's the mindset you need to be in to do that job.
Yes.
Perfect. So how did the two of you end up together?
What, in life or
in life? No, in life. Let's start in life first.
You can tell it.
So actually, really quite sad. Going back to Scouts, there, because we were both part of like the Scadult.
This sounds so dodgy. Scadult. This story.
We were at a big camp, big sort of weekend camp for adults who were in the Scout Association, a bit of a festival style. And there was a bouncy castle, and I lost my mobile phone.
Oh, you're not telling where I actually first started talking to you? The night before?
No, I lost my mobile phone, and Alan came bouncing over to me and said, I think it's in my tent. I was like, I don't think it is it, Alan? And then he very smarmy. And I told him to, what?
Smarmy? I'll take it.
We met, and actually it was quite interesting, because we'd actually, after we met and after we got together, and we were together, or we have been together 16 years now, we looked at some historic photographs of different friendship circles we were in, and there were photographs of us back to back, at a bar somewhere where we'd never even met each other, not even noticed each other, and it wasn't until sort of a few years later that we kind of crossed paths, and that's where we were. So we met in 2006, and that's all history. But when it came to working together, it was our honeymoon. Alan was working for Carphone, and they made a series of redundancies, and Alan literally stepped off the plane and turned his mobile phone on, like we all do when we get off the plane, and he had a voicemail from his boss at the time going, we need to come into the office, and it's like, are you making me redundant? Okay, so he got made redundant, and then swiftly after that, the Forestry Commission were cutting quite a lot of staff as well.
It's when they were selling the trees off.
They were selling the trees, and we had that kind of conversation at the time. Do we go back in to find jobs? Do we go and find careers? Do we have a career change, or do we decide to work together and try something new together? So we decided, actually, we had a little bit of opportunity. We had a few months grace there in terms of Alan's gardening leave and such, or what comes around that, and let's think about it. Let's see what we want to do. And then it kind of naturally came into what do we like, and we went through that whole process of what do we want, and having that scouting background and that whole the putting tents up as kids for free for years. Let's do that for a bit. Let's get outside, get some fresh air, and actually walk away from our desks that we've been in for so many years, and actually kind of do something a bit more grassroots and rough and ready. And that's how it started. And then we realised, and it's one of the best things, we worked together for nearly 10 years now, or over 10 years now, that we have a common goal in what we want to do in terms of where we want to get to. We'll be on that beach in Barbados at some point. It'll be lovely. But we have that kind of, and we work together really, really well. We have different skill sets. which we touched on earlier, but we do different parts of the business together. So it always we work really well together. And to find someone that you can work together with effortlessly is kind of golden. And, you know, forget the fact that he's my husband. You know, we do work as quite a good ultimate fighting team together. And that's where we are today.
The bit I think adding on to that is we quite often get people go, oh, I couldn't work with my other half, I couldn't do that. And the bit that Emily was sort of just mentioned there is we have an aligned goal.
Yeah.
And what you find when people are employed but together, as an example, one will be employed over here, the other one's employed over there, and that's taking up a lot of their time. So that's what they're trying to achieve. And then they may come together for a holiday, go, we've had an amazing holiday. Well, of course you do. You now have that aligned goal again. So Emily and I have an aligned goal. So working together becomes easier, you know, because we know what we're trying to. So when we argue, it's like, is this helping us achieve our goal? No. Okay, let's stop. Who's the expert in this part? You are, I am. Let's stop. You know, you choose. So
no, I mean, just saying it like that, you can see how difficult it must be if you are both in corporate jobs, in corporate worlds. Then you're not there's no way really of coming together. That's especially if you've got kids as well. You know, to sort of try and get that time together. That's really awkward.
Tough. It is tough.
Yeah. Was the mobile phone in his tent?
No, we never found it again.
Never found it. Some shady scout must have stolen it. No,
Don't say that. Whoa, we can't say that.
It never. But I would never forget. I was in so much trouble with my mum because it was. We were leaving that day, and it was my brother's 21st birthday, and it was some football final, whatever. Because I'm not. Was it the Euros?
2006.
Euro 2006. I don't know what it was.
Football.
And it was my brother's 21st birthday, and I was meant to be rushing home to help set up with the big screen in the garden for his mates to come round, and I was really late.
You made the right choice, princess.
I don't know. Will my mum say that now?
Never saying princess again.
Could have married Beth, darling.
Could have married Beth or whatever.
Moving on. Digital Circus Live.
Yeah.
So that's coming up very, very soon. Tell us a little bit about how that came about and what it is.
You can do that.
I know. Once again, this taps into our wedding world we were in, Jackie. So, as Emily mentioned earlier on, we'd sort of segued the two businesses. Yellow Tuxedo had started as this kind of winter project come exit strategy. And then 2 years ago today, Boris made his announcement, and us and a lot of other wedding industries were absolutely kiboshed in one meeting, and lots of other businesses in the world, you know, let's not beat around the bush here. And we'd gone, okay, we need to ramp up Yellow Tuxedo to replace that lost income. And, you know, we had some one-on-one kind of bespoke packages where we showed people how to do stuff. But, you know, there's an element of business here. We wanted to create a subscription membership, but also we're like, well, hold on, can we help as many businesses as possible? And we want to call everything, you know, like Emily said, our only KPI is fun, so things need to be fun. And so it took a while, but we created this name, the Digital Circus. And it's all about lots of different acts coming together to achieve something great. And so about 6 months into Yellow Tuxedo, 2 years roughly ago today, we created this membership called the Digital Circus, where we showed as many businesses as possible how to grow their businesses online.
That was really important because you had the likes of, you know, plumbers, beauticians, musicians, lots of different industries, but with the same challenge to facing, because they couldn't do their standard job. They couldn't be face to face with people, but they had to suddenly move online. Now, being online for a lot of people, that skill set isn't there. They didn't know how to start with that. It's quite daunting. It's quite scary to go, oh, actually, I need to shift this up. So it was designed for lots of different eclectic mix of people there. Eclectic mix of people there to kind of help them understand what to do in a short space of time as well.
And we wanted it, and this is really important to us, we wanted it to be accessible. So that membership's like £20 a month, okay, and still is, and we don't plan for it to ever go up. You know, we say that, but that's the plan. And because we got a background in events, and because we'd started a membership, we always had this idea for like an annual kind of circus. And before kind of lockdown, well, when we thought lockdown was going to be 2 weeks till Easter, we had this idea of a big top in a field where we would try and minimise professional business, but have circus acts, as we were talking about. We may well one day. You can be Anne from The Greatest Showman.
Oh, I doubt that. She's
you know, so we always thought we were going to do something like this, and then it lasted way longer than any of us thought, but we still had an itch to scratch. We wanted to start this virtual event. We decided to start this virtual event. And that's where the Digital Circus Live came from. And we wanted it to be, and it is, a celebration of digital visibility, business growth and opportunity. Because we are huge believers in that if you choose to embrace the digital way to grow your business, then there are fantastic opportunities. And they're not just new revenue streams and monetization. Some of them are chatting to people like you, Jackie, and meeting you, because if it wasn't for the move to digital, we would probably have never met. We may have done, very, very unlikely, but and loads more people as well we've met because we've moved online, as well as new revenue streams, blah, 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 and all the businessy stuff that supports it. So we wanted to do that. And something we like to do in Yellow Tuxedo, we like to try and push the boundaries just a little bit if we can, and or show a different route is probably a better example, isn't it? A different way of achieving something. And we were in a very Zoom orientated world at the time. So we went, well, hold on, Zoom's very limiting if we want to try and create a festival vibe, a circus vibe. And we discovered this platform called Hopin, Hopin, that basically changes the direction of kind of use. In Zoom, you do what the host wants you to do. You listen to what the host wants you to listen to. Hopin allows you to choose. And this was really important to us. So that allowed us to have a main stage with inspiring keynote speakers, workshops where you can learn and be taught how to grow your business online, an expo tent where there's lots of booths of businesses you can go and chat about collaborations with, and then a speed networking area where you can literally network all day if you choose to. And Hopin allows us to do all of that in one place. And as always, the Digital Circus is accessible, is the polite way of saying slightly cheaper and budget, isn't it? The Digital Circus is our accessible brand, so we wanted to remain that. So, it's £49. That's the Digital Circus Live, and it's a fantastic day out. And I'm sorry for putting my hand in front of your face.
Last year was our first Digital Circus. It was on the, I think, 18th of May last year, and it was our first trial of it. And honestly, we didn't know what to expect, and it was natural to us to go back into events. And again, those kind of what we need and what we like, that was scratching an itch for us. But it really was proof in the pudding that you can have really good fun and connection and enjoy an event like that in a digital space. And people came away from it, and some of the comments last year where it felt like I've been at a conference centre all day. I could smell the big top from my living room, those kind of things. And we just wanted to emulate that again. So we are running it again this year, and it's bigger and better than, and we're looking at to grow and grow year on year, really. But we really, really, really are proud of it. We've worked hard on it to be, again, allowing as many different types of business as possible who still have the same challenges day in, day out, to really explore that and to meet some new people and to learn something new on the day as well.
I understand niching down as a phrase, okay? I absolutely get it. I understand find your tribe. I understand all of that. But I think sometimes the knock-on is the silo effect, okay? So when we transition from the wedding world to what, for the sake of this, I'm going to call Hampshire small business world, like, it's very siloed. Wedding sits over here. And then in the wedding world, when you think you know everyone, you turn out the biggest supplier in the county lives next door and you've never met them before, for example. So there's silos within silos, and I don't know. I'm a big believer in bringing the world together and all these other kind of nice things. So that wanting to try and create something that helped, I don't know if help's the right word, but it will do for the moment, helped as many people in many different silos and industries and markets as possible was something. And I'm sure there's a business coach somewhere going, no, you need to niche down. I get that. That's fine. But for the moment,
we love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reason I'm coming, and obviously I have my ticket, my golden ticket. Yay. I'm very excited about that. That will go on LinkedIn eventually.
Good.
And will outdo the one I put on yesterday. But in terms of it, the reason I'm going and the reason I was couldn't wait was because I heard such good things from last year. And I don't understand Hopin at all. I think I've done one conference thing that I came away in the end because I couldn't get it. I don't know if it was Hopin or not, but I didn't get it. So I'm looking forward to playing with that, because I like doing events as well. I mean, it might be something that, you know, I like sort of finding out how other people are presenting and planning things and doing events with what they do. So I'm really looking forward to that. Talk us through very, very quickly, because you've got, I mean, have you got more speakers this year than you did last year? Because there's lots there.
We've removed a speaker. We now have 15 sessions on. We last year had 16, but mainly because this year we are being sponsored by Only Networking. And within that day, we realised that we could spend an entire week on this with as many speakers as possible. But actually, we wanted within the day, the speed networking area is open all day, but we're going to have a designated time in the afternoon to have a gigantic speed networking session. So we've taken out a speaker to allow us to have a group networking session as well to change it. But
just to explain how that works, because it is very cool. Actually, I've got a short to put up. I might put it up after this. Basically, you down the left-hand side is the main stage, workshops, Expo 10 and networking. And you click on it and it says share audio video, and it says we'll connect you with someone random soon. So whoever is in the networking zone, basically you are randomly connected to. And I think we've upped it to 5 minutes. So it's not super speed. You get 5 minutes to have a chat. You have a button to kind of send your LinkedIn details to each other. You can extend it if you're really enjoying it. And then, or you finish after 5 minutes and then it says ready to connect to the next person. So we want everyone who's there in this place at once, and we're just all going to enjoy kind of half an hour of chatting to as many people as we can.
I mean, I'll show that again because
the question was about meet the speakers.
Actually, I missed out Danielle of this picture. Danielle joined us later, but we have going for it. So Danielle's not in this picture. Danielle Bays is from Videos Undifficulted. She is doing 2 sessions for us. She's doing a main stage and a workshop for us. Her workshop's about Canva video, getting started with Canva video if you're not very technical, and she is also talking about the fact that she has successfully, I don't know how many people want to do, cracked TikTok, and as a business, a B2B kind of business, she's going to share her sort of how she's using TikTok.
2 years and 4 attempts. We can't do this much on everyone. We haven't got enough time.
But within here, we've got online course creation, we've got creating a global business, we've got audience building, podcasting, we've got sales, we've got passive income streams, MailerLite, we've got Martin from MailerLite talking about email marketing, we've got confidence, we've got improving your brand story, we've got audience on a budget. So there's so many different things, and the great thing with this is that there's something in it for anybody. So even if you take one session from the day that is relevant to you, you can learn one thing. It's going to be definitely time well spent on there. And the sessions are going to be running side by side, so there'll always be 2 sessions at once, so you can pick which one fits you best. Because if podcasting isn't for you, go and watch something else for the day. If you want to watch both, everything's going to be available on replay afterwards. So it's just a great way of you kind of sculpting and shaping your day to fit what you need as a business or a brand as well.
Excellent. And and people can come and find that on your website or directly to here.
Yes.
You can get www.digitalcircus.live. You can go straight there to see all of our speakers, all of the schedule for the day.
And get a ticket. Come and join in.
We really, honestly, I said this on a live yesterday. We get the notification when someone buys a ticket, and literally, I don't. It comes up on my phone, and I say, "Oh, someone's bought a ticket, Alan," but I can't see who it is. Alan has the hop-in list, and he goes, "Oh, it's Jackie," and I'm like, "Yeah!" And we literally do a happy, because what we're saying when that happens is we can see the guest list building, and we can see all the people who are basically trusting us with their day, with their time for the day, to have a really, really good time and a really worthwhile time as well. So we're seeing the guest list building for who's going to bring their golden tickets, and get the front row seat to all the action. And it's really damn exciting. I'm really excited to see everyone.
Yeah, there's a few bits that are super exciting. There's the people we know in our audience, in our community, who came last year and have come this year, but we haven't heard anything from them in between. Like they're not regular clients or anything like that. They're just kind of names on Instagram who we chat to, for example, and they were like kind of one of the first of it. And we're like, oh, that's really interesting, following these things. The other bit that I think is so important, this is a 1-day virtual event, okay? That is a lot of time for a small business owner, micropreneur, whatever what you are, to kind of give to this event. Even when we say you're going to leave inspired, kind of increase your knowledge, network, all of that, it's still a lot of time. That's one of the other reasons we're using Hopin over Zoom. In hopping, you choose if you need to exit and go and answer the door, or go on a quick call for 30 minutes, or do a quick bit of client work. Hopping allows you to go out, hop in and hop out. It allows you to go out and go back in. You know, that's one of the reasons we've done it. I can't hang around the kids too much. We've done it to be like that, so you can pop out if you need to pop out. You know.
Yeah. Have you just realised that hop in is hop in and hop out?
Not right now, but very recently, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. And what do you think is going to be the big takeaway of the day?
Oh, the big takeaway is, do you know what? It's the embracing the opportunities, especially with the our main stage speakers. I mean, the learning zone is incredible, and there's so much there. And the great thing is they're half-hour snackable pits. It's not like we're there for 3 hours on a subject where it's quite a lot to learn. There will be an actual takeaway from every single workshop. But what I'm really, really keen, and Alan and I will fight over who gets to watch them, is the learning, the inspiration zone, the main stage speakers. We could have had the likes of Dragons and Deborah Mead and that kind of stuff, but we didn't want that. You know, we wanted to have tangible businesses like us who are doing it for themselves and have taken the opportunity to grow their business in a different direction. And like Kelly and James from Only, you know, they're a global business now. They are in Only New York. We've got Lucy, who sells socks, but she is literally, honestly, if she's on the Forbes under 30 this year, she's incredible. We've got Al Fawcett and his story about the gift of story. He talks to some incredible people on his podcast, like worldwide. And it's about these, that if you don't embrace digital and it's not even tinkering in the background in your head, then actually you're missing a massive opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think what I want, what I want businesses who arrive on the day is to feel that actually we are all on the same page. We are still here, but if it's about taking those opportunities and trying something new. And if it doesn't work, you've not lost anything, but inspiring yourself to go, right, I'm invigorated, I'm going to try something new. Maybe just one thing from that day, like I said earlier. One thing is enough to act on your business to make a massive change.
But it comes like full circle. It's almost like we planned it. It comes back to that black and white stuff, Jackie, you know, about we're running a business, we're trying to connect with people, we want to grow, we want to make sales and all these other things. So what are you going to do tomorrow that was different from today to achieve something you've never achieved before? And coming to something like the Digital Circus Live, we hope we might help give you that answer. Actually, I need to jump in again. Like Al Fawcett's is a fascinating one, because he was a coach who had a podcast and started a podcast kind of for the same reason lots of businesses do, but has almost now shifted into, I'm a podcaster who also does a bit of coaching, you know, and it's been we've known him for nearly a decade now, but watching that shift, that change has been absolutely fascinating, and that's why we've got him on the main stage to kind of share that with everyone.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. And before I let you go, I just want to know a little bit more about your world record, Alan.
Oh, Jackie. Jackie, come
Of
on.
all the
Get
things.
it in there.
I need to go and answer the door. Can I go?
Yeah. Oh, it's about me, Emily. I'll try and do the slightly abridged vote. Right. So I literally, when I have the brain capacity, and that's very important, like you've got to have the time, the brain capacity, I literally think, what can I do that's going to be a bit more fun? And I'm very motivated about what am I going to be thinking about when I'm on my deathbed. Like, I'm never going to go, oh, I'm so pleased I hoovered the stairs. I'm just never going to say that. But I am going to say things like, oh, I set a world record, and that really, I'm glad I did that for myself and my family. I'm dragging them along on the ride.
We all loved it.
Yeah. So this one started where I used to collect toilet roll tubes when I was on the lavatory. Sorry to be slightly graphic, and I got fed up binning them. So this collection started mounting in my loo. I was in a shared house with some people, and they were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I just can't bin them. I'll do something. I just haven't decided what yet." And at the time, I'd been looking to set a world record for the loudest clap, because, long story, I've got a really loud clap, and I checked it once on a decibel meter, and I was going to do this, and I never got round to it. You know. And then I thought, why didn't I set a world record with these loo roll tubes? Because who doesn't want to have a world record in their story repertoire? So I contacted them, said, what can I do? Longest loo roll chain. And they said, no, it doesn't exist, but you can set that if you wish. So that's it. Full scale kind of attack. Come on, everyone, collect your loo roll chain. And people were turning up with bin bags full of loo roll tubes for me, which in hindsight, now I'm old, is a bit minging. But at the time, it was like, let's go. So then then I had bags and bags and bags of these loo roll tubes everywhere. And then one day,
You know, so that program, is it Hoarders, when you go
Oh,
into
it
the house?
was
and
like
it's
that.
Just
No,
it was
that's
like that.
exactly what I've got in my head.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. That, like I say, in retrospect, it's quite kind of gopping. So then it was sat there one day and threaded all of these. Was it 939? It's there. It's right there. It's in the office on the shelf over there. 939. That was the 939th. I kept it and threaded them all on a piece of string. It took quite a while, and then we've got pictures of me with them all draped around my neck and everything else. And I set this world record. And do you know what? I'm going to say this. It felt really good setting up.
And then he sold his story to Take a Break magazine.
I did. Well, I don't. So as part of setting a world record, you have to get independent reports. You have to try and get media coverage, and you have to get photos. They need to know you legit did it. So I can't remember how the kind of media coverage happened. I can't really remember. But I did. I was in some random newspaper in Canada. The Metro did an article, and then Take a Break rang me up and said, "Can we buy your story for a couple of £100?" I'm like, "Of course you can."
I can imagine journalists seeking you out. I mean, the madman with the a room full of toilet rolls holders. Yeah.
Well, when was this? 2007.
It was before we were married. But proof again, though, of creating content for content's sake. It was something he started, but actually the story that came out of it and the press coverage afterwards is a prime example of now what we teach with Digital Circus.
Still talking about it 15 years later.
It's a great story. Thanks for bringing that up, Jackie.
Perfect. Yeah. But thank you for bringing it so deftly back to what it is that you do in the business, which I think is brilliant. So just quickly, Emily, what's your story then in terms of what's your world record?
I have dealing with Alan Braithwaite for so many years. Probably my. I think I've done loads of fun things. We've done loads of fun
Who are you
things.
trying to convince?
I know.
Right.
But
you have. Sorry.
The thing is, I think I've done some awesome things over the years, but they will never match the Alan Braithwaite. And he's just so random and so
sorry, I think Emily's doing herself a disservice here, darling. What about the time you went to Madagascar and entered a 6-day ultra marathon?
I entered an ultra marathon and I flew out to Madagascar on Lydia Rose's first birthday. So I had proper mummy guilt on that day, going, oh my goodness, I'm missing my daughter's first birthday. But I ran, 7 days. I did 250 kilometres across Madagascar. Hurt a lot. But I really, going into what we want to inspire our kids to do and kind of bring it back to the kids, I wanted, you get all the mums going, oh, I never leave my daughter. I wanted to be able to inspire her to say, actually, if I want to do something, I can go and do it and I don't have to worry about what other people think, and to try new things. And I'm not a runner by any means. Alan's the runner. But I did it. So that was pretty my exciting story. I went to Madagascar and ran 250 kilometres.
Did you stay overnight?
Yeah, I saw all the characters from the film as well on the beach.
No, you did. You stay in a tent every night, don't you? I thought that was a genuine question, by the way.
Well, that was.
Oh, right. I thought it was a genuine question.
I kind of guessed she stayed overnight. I didn't think she'd sort of gone and run it and come back the same day. But yeah, I think that's amazing. I have to say, though, because I did find this, and I didn't mention it before we started the recording, but I did find a YouTube video of the two of you chatting about a trade fair and the fact that you took your son for his first birthday to a trade fair.
The showman show. Oh, I love the showman show.
You thought that was incredibly exciting for him.
Do you know what? When they're that old, they have no idea, do they? And actually, back in the events world, they were great. And it was the showman show we went to. And actually, there were clowns. There were big bubble machines. There was a walking...
Well, they're camels.
There's camels. There's animatronic dinosaurs. Actually, it was like going to a theme park for the day. It was brilliant. He had no idea.
I haven't been to the showman show post-COVID, but pre-COVID, the showman show at Newbury Showground, late October, was an amazing day out. Like, honestly, it was our treat to ourselves.
That's what our baby wanted.
Yeah, but he did. He got put in a bubble. We've got pictures of Ben in a bubble. Was it Joseph's first birthday or Ben's first birthday?
They all merge into one, don't they?
They all merge into one. But we even got them, you know what these trade shows are like. You print out your badges and everything else. We even got him a little badge. So he had his own name badge for the show and everything. And why not? It's a great day out.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much for being fantastic guest. Let me just put up the that's the website, Yellow Tuxedo website. And where's the best place to connect with you?
You can connect with us anywhere. Instagram is our favourite. We're always on Instagram, and
makes us smile.
It makes us smile. But we are all over the place. LinkedIn, Facebook at Yellow Tuxedo. So anywhere you want to find us, we're there. But we were most active on Instagram.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for your time today,
Thank
and
you for
good
having us,
luck.
Jackie.
And yeah, really looking forward to the Digital Circus live. So if anybody out there hasn't got a ticket, go get your ticket right now.
Yes.
There's not much time left, so go for it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Jackie.
Bye.